The Gingerbread Doll by Susan Tews, illustrated by Lloyd. My grandmas and aunts get together each winter for a day of baking Christmas cookies. When the oven's hot and full and the kitchen smells spicy, my great-grandma Rebecca tells us her story of the gingerbread doll. It happened in 1930 during the Great Depression when people were terribly poor. She was only 9 years old, living on a farm in Wisconsin. She remembers boots crunching through the snow surrounding the narrow farmhouse. Her mama had to feed the animals, even on Christmas morning. Rebecca pulled the blankets around her to fight off the chill. She was the first one awake except for her parents. Heat from the stove barely reached the upstairs bedrooms. That's why Mama had tacked cardboard over the window. Rebecca pulled it out a little to see. Frost patterns iced the glass, and it would have been a perfect Christmas picture except for the way her mother struggled with the heavy bucket. Mama had been so full of hope that last winter when they'd bought the farm. She and Daddy had saved a long time. They packed all their belongings into a borrowed truck, and the two boys rode with Daddy. The other 5 children went in the car with Mama. Rebecca kept the baby warm under her coat while they drove from Illinois through a snowstorm. It took them all night and part of the next day to get to the rocky fields of their new home. Rebecca remembered when her mother first saw it was a tar paper house. Mama almost cried. The house looked like some patched-up black stovepipe. The plumbing was frozen, and inside, the floor and walls were a mess. Daddy set his jaw and painted Wilcox on the mailbox. It was only some miracle that got them through the winter. Hail destroyed most of the first year's crop. Daddy said it would be a lean Christmas. But the holiday excitement kept Rebecca hoping she'd find a porcelain doll under the tree, the doll she'd seen in the store window in town. Her little sister Claire woke up. "What are you looking at?" "Just Mama," Rebecca said. Claire jumped out of bed. She said, "Come downstairs to see our presents." There wasn't much under the tree. Rebecca let go of her hopes for a doll when she saw that all the packages were small. They were wrapped in brown paper and string. Her oldest brother James read off the names. Rebecca and the older children made a fuss over each gift so the little ones wouldn't notice. They were just things like walnuts and pencils. Daddy held onto Mama's hand. Rebecca felt a lump in her throat. There was no gift for her. Then Mama looked at her face and went to get something from the cupboard. "I couldn't get you that doll you picked out," she said, "not this year anyway. But I did have a little molasses and lard. It got me to thinking, and I baked you a gingerbread doll." A gingerbread doll? Who had ever heard of such a thing? But Rebecca's heart leaped when she saw it. She was good at imagining, and she knew it would serve just fine, more than just fine, as a doll. Mama had rolled the dough extra thick and used a knife to cut out the shape of a girl. She'd stuck in pieces of yarn for hair. Then she'd stitched together scraps of cloth for a dress. Finally, Mama had sewed on 3 different shiny buttons. Rebecca knew right away what to name her. "Button Marie," she announced. "That's her name." She cradled Button Marie like a baby doll. Mama had made her just for Rebecca, and Rebecca took extra care not to break her because a gingerbread doll is every bit as delicate as porcelain. For breakfast they had a treat, gingerbread pieces soaked in cream. Mama laughed when Rebecca said, "Nobody better be thinking about eating my Button Marie for breakfast." Rebecca would take the doll's dress off and put it back on gently, and twirl her yarn hair into a curl. She kept her in a box lid on top of the girl's chest of drawers. She liked to prop her up against the wall. Rebecca still would have given anything to have that porcelain doll, but she loved Button Marie in a way you could never love anything from a store. One day, Rebecca opened the drawer too fast, and before she could catch her, Button Marie hit the dresser top hard. Rebecca wanted her mother to glue her. Mama studied the broken pieces in her lap and managed to smile. "Honey," she said, "Button Marie wasn't meant to last forever. She was just a cookie." Rebecca cried, "She was not just a cookie. You said she was a doll." "She was a doll because you loved her," her mother said, touching Rebecca's hand. Sadly, Rebecca put away Button Marie's dress. The next year there was a good harvest, and the family filled the loft with hay. James and Daddy nailed beautiful white siding on the farmhouse. That Christmas, the presents had colored wrappings. Times were getting better. Rebecca felt sure she would never love another doll as much as she had Button Marie, but her gift that year was a cornhusk doll. The neighbor ladies taught Mama how to soak the husks and bend them just so. Mama used a fine-tipped ink pen to draw a face, and she made the doll so beautiful that Rebecca did love her. She gave Mama a great big kiss. After another year, Rebecca got a store-bought cloth doll. It wasn't as nice as a porcelain one, but she liked the cloth doll's pink ruffled gown. For fun, she would put Button Marie's dress on her. When Mama saw the gingerbread doll's dress, she said, "Where did you get that old thing?" But her eyes sparkled when she said it. Mama taught the children to pinch pennies so they'd know how to get by when times were hard. Daddy never got rich, but he did well enough farming. At last, one Christmas, Mama gave Rebecca a porcelain doll. She was a beautiful doll with ruby lips, dressed in red satin and white lace, with ringlets of chestnut-colored hair. But Rebecca also kept Button Marie. Now she's just a scrap of cloth and buttons that my great-grandma smooths out with her thumbs. She shows her to me on cookie baking day, and great-grandma Rebecca tells me she was her best doll. She says, "Button Marie was made from love, and that's the part of a gingerbread doll that lasts forever."